furry friend behaves the way they do? Well, Charlotte Hawkins is on a mission to unravel the mysteries of dog behaviour in her brand new podcast, Leaps and Hounds.
Each week, she gets advice from animal behaviour expert Kris Glover from Dogs Trust. And this week, it's all about doggy phobias.
Lovely to see you both. Thank you for coming in.
It's great to be here. Happy birthday, we should just say.
Different sofa, but it's nice to see you.
I know.
Does it feel weird?
It's been a little while.
It feels lovely. I did see Charlotte at the Carol concert, the Princess Well Carol concert last week.
I heard. No, you were naughty.
You completely stitched me up.
Tell them what you did.
No, there was a free seat next to me and I offered it to Charlotte, said, come on, sit down. It turns out that it wasn't free at all. It was Tom and Giovanna Fletcher's
Which I suspect you knew. You said, come and sit here. And I said, are you sure it's not taken? You said, no, sit here, it's fine. Then, obviously, it was when Tom Fletcher came rushing over saying, I think you're fine, that's my seat.
Much of the amusement of me and all the people sitting around as well who knew that they were sitting there.
So the question I'd like to ask is, when are you actually going to start acting your age?
I mean, that's very fair, Charlotte.
I would say never. Look who's over here.
Less about me. Let's talk a little bit about Tink, who has come with you, a chihuahua terrier cross. Now, Tink, I understand, has an unexpected fear, Kris, of wheelie bins.
So she used to be really quite worried about wheelie bins. When I first took her on from a Dogs Trust in Harefield, and we worked her through it. So the first or second sort of walk that I took her on happened to be wheelie bin day, which is always a little bit sort of scary anyway. Yeah. So there was a line of wheelie bins outside the house. I took her outside. She was already a little bit sort of cautious about being outside because she'd only been with me a couple of days, and was really quite worried about the wheelie bin that was parked outside, which happened to be my wheelie bin, which was parked outside the entrance to my house. So, yeah, and it sort of got me thinking about the fact that when we consider things like wheelie bins, we think of them as being things that we put rubbish in. Yeah. And we know it's a wheelie bin, but actually, from a dog's perspective, it's just a big, scary thing that happens to be outside once a week. Can make quite a thundering noise if it's moved and it's empty. Also, sometimes moves on its own as well. And it doesn't seem to have any purpose. So from a dog's perspective, it actually just being outside and only being there once a week and not really having any purpose can be actually quite scary for them.
So Tink was intimidated or had a little bit of a phobia about it, but you've managed to help.
Absolutely.
What the issue?
Yeah, so the first thing I did is, I think when we have a dog that is experiencing a fear of something, sometimes it's good just to give them a bit of a break from it. Now, fortunately, wheelie bin day was 6 days then in the future, which was absolutely great. So it gave me a little bit of opportunity just to get her exposed to the wheelie bin, but while it was next to the house.
Right.
So familiar environment, I'm quite lucky. I can actually lock my driveway, so it means that I could have her off lead. I just scattered a few treats around. I played ball with her. So it gave her time to be able to see the wheelie bin, know that it was nothing to be worried about, but not to put that pressure on her. Because I think we are very keen sometimes, when we've got a dog and we recognise that they've got a worry about something, we want to fix it. And sometimes that desperation to get something sorted means that we don't give them that time to sort of just reduce that stress, take a little bit of a pause and then make a plan on how we're going to address it.
And Charlotte, this is what basically your podcast is all about, Leaps and Hounds. So basically you take, and it's in great little bite-sized chunks, actually. It's brilliant. So you take a dog with a bit of a problem, whatever that is, whether it's jumping up and down, whether it's wheelie bins, whether it's stealing food, and then you talk and you explain how to kind of go around the problem.
Yeah, so we wanted to do a podcast that was just going to give people these top tips on certain behaviour issues because, you know, I'm a massive dog lover. Dogs can bring us so much joy. I'm an ambassador for the Dogs Trust, and there are so many dogs that are being handed back because of unwanted behaviours, because owners just can't cope with it. And we thought, actually, if we could just have a really sort of simple series where people could get top tips on things like you say, jumping up, barking, recall, whatever it is. So we go through all of that in the podcast, and we have a rescue dog that sort of demonstrates the behaviour each week. And just to try to make sure that actually with just a few tips from Kris, who's the expert on all of this, that, you know, you can make a real difference and actually get the best out of your dog to make sure that, you have a great member of the household who's not doing something that's, annoying or frustrating behaviour.
And it's amazing because when we have Graham on, the dog father, Graham Hall, he gives you a little tip and you suddenly go, actually, that's really sensible. Of course, that's almost obvious. But it's not until you hear somebody say it that you work out that that's what you need to do. So what does the Dogs Trust actually do?
So the Dogs Trust, so they rescue dogs. I mean, they get, at the moment, they're inundated with calls, actually, from people. Rescue centres are full to the brim, whether it's cost of living crisis or whether it's unwanted behaviour. So they would take in those dogs and aim to rehome them, to be able to get them back out in people's homes where they should be. They've got a behaviour support line as well for people who are having difficulties with behaviour. And, a lot of times it is, I was talking to Kris about it, it's about understanding what your dog is thinking at the same time. Kris was talking there about what happens, what's going through a dog's head when it sees a wheelie bin. And, one of the episodes we did was on barking, for example. And, you'll sort of probably, if you've got a dog that barks a lot, you think, it's driving me nuts, why does it keep barking the whole time? But actually, if you listen to what it's saying, and Kris is great at this because she is absolutely fluent in dog, then actually they've got different types of barks. Sometimes they're excited and they're saying, oh, I want to do something, or this looks great fun. Sometimes they want breakfast, that's a different type of bark. Sometimes they're scared, that's a different type of bark altogether. And if you can understand that, then you can understand how to work with them to be able to sort of lessen it being a problem in your house.
Yeah.
It's a lovely podcast. We had some viewers' questions. We ran out of time, but maybe we can get you to record them and we'll put them on the app.
That's a great idea.
Because there's some brilliant things here. Charlotte's seagull feathers terrify her pup. Tracy's dog is scared of Christmas crackers.
Understandable.
Tracy, the dog, is afraid of grass. And Sam says she can't burp or hiccup around her dog. Sam, that might be your issue, not the dog's. But a few things. If we could get you to record those and we'll put them on the app, because there's loads of really interesting things, especially around Christmas, when everybody and all the family's around, you want the dog to be a part of it, not sort of causing any issues.
Thank you.
Thank you
so
coming in.
much for joining us.
So that helpline for Behaviour, is it just for dogs?
Oh, well, I know. I think
well?
I'll forward you the number. Don't you worry. I'm sure they can do something about yours.
Lovely to see you both.
Thank
It was
you.
great to meet Tink.
Enjoy the rest of your birthday.
Thank you, Charlotte.
Thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload new content every day, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out. And we'll see you in the morning.